The next one is Citizens Advice Bureau, Neil Lancaster and Molly Howard. Hello Neil, I haven't seen you for ages.
Not for several weeks.
No.
We used to debate the location of schools in the eastern part of Christchurch.
We did indeed.
Thank you for having us here wearing different hats today. I'm the chair of the board of Citizens Advice Bureau in Christchurch. And I'd like to start off by talking about the second part of our submission and then relate back to the first. This isn't an attention-seeking device, but I think the second part is the point that we really are critically involved in that we want to be working with you in the development of a long-term plan for Christchurch, and particularly in the location of libraries and service centres and our place in that world in Christchurch. Last year we had 13,400 contacts to us, either by phone or by people coming in and requesting our services. We will give advice and help to people on any issue that they raise with us. Frequently, we always ask our clients, how did you know about us? And frequently we get the reply, I've always known about you. And I think that says something about the work that we do. We're a highly trusted brand. We are recognised not only in New Zealand, but in the United Kingdom and Australia. We are totally independent. We won't accept funding from other organisations, or we won't accept funding, well, certainly from the City Council. We won't accept funding from commercial organisations which might imply that we're getting some gain from them. And so our impartiality in working with people in the community is really critical. Throughout New Zealand, Citizens Advice Bureaus are located in libraries and service centres. It's the place where people know that we are. Since the earthquakes, that situation hasn't happened to the same extent in Christchurch, and in the long-term planning for where the city's going, we would like to see us being included in the planning, particularly for the new Central Library, for the Linwood Library, and also for the new Hornby Service Centre and Library, which are planned. We need space where we can meet with our clients confidentially, where we can run clinics for our clients. We run Justices of the Peace clinics, we run free legal advice services, we have the potential to run budgeting services and a range of other services in our community. And so that having the recognised space to be able to do that is really important. So that relates to the second point in our submission. The first point, as I said, is our place in Christchurch and in New Zealand, and the respect that there is for us as a totally independent body. And the ongoing work that we've been doing in Christchurch over the past 3 years has certainly, we've gone from place to place, I guess, to some extent. We are in the Island Service Centre, which is an ideal physical location within a building for us, but it's not our high priority need in Christchurch. Certainly we are moving into the east as our priority, and we've just negotiated a 2-year deal which might fit in nicely with your planning with CPIT to take over their student health services building on Barbados Street, which gives us quite a public place in that part of town. So looking further on, that's where we'd like to be with you in the library in the city, in Linwood, and also at Hornby. And I'm sorry, I've only used 4 minutes.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, look, I couldn't agree more that Citizens Advice belongs with our library service. I mean, it's just doesn't make sense otherwise. Our Linwood Library at the moment is in Eastgate Mall.
Yep, that's right.
Have you thought about going in there as well?
We've had long negotiations. The present library doesn't work largely because of our confidentiality requirements. Sitting in the foyer of the library with people who may be distressed or upset about their situation isn't...
But it didn't work?
Sorry.
Yeah, we're now, Vicky and I are onto the Aviva site now, which is next door. But
we'd met with Vicky about that earlier in the year.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the other site within the health within the building, quite frankly, is beyond our financial means to service a rent which would lock us into a contract over several years where we as a voluntary organisation with annual funding, we simply as a board can't do that.
But because it would be really good. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that gives us food for thought in different ways as well.
Yep.
So Andrew, Yanni, Jimmy.
Thank you. Now, just in relation to your request that we designate 60 square metres of purpose-built space in the rebuilt libraries, I'm just interested in getting a little bit more information about the work that's already going on in Hornby, Fendleton and South Library, the numbers of interactions that you have with people there and the kind of interactions you have. Clearly is something that you're saying is working effectively there. If we were to expand that, it would be good just to get some more information. Partially
effectively. Nationally, 2/3 of our contacts are people who walk in. In Christchurch, and 1/3 is by phone. In Christchurch, those figures are reversed. 2/3 of our contacts are by phone and 1/3 are walk-in. Our aim is to be where people are because we feel that we can communicate far more effectively with people when they're sitting and talking to us. And many of the people who contact us have been given a runaround by a government department and they want to talk to someone. And so being where people are and being able to be in that situation where people can come and talk to us is really important. What we deal with, consumer issues, family separation, all the family dynamic things. Employment issues are becoming increasingly significant. MBIE regard our workplace data on our cabinet website is the best in New Zealand. So we deal with a lot of employment issues. We also deal with, what am I missing?
We deal with a whole range of issues, but primarily I think the most important thing is to think about us as a one-stop shop where you can actually talk to a person and have that person point you in the right direction of where you need to go. But the other important point I'd like to make is there's a really good benefit for us to being in the libraries, and that librarians can refer people to us, service centre staff can refer people to us. So there's a really good synergy for the actual staff there when they're dealing with people where it falls outside the boundaries or the criteria of their role. And that's where we can step in and add value to being in there.
What we have in Fendleton, where we've taken over the community constables part of the Fendleton Service Centre, physically is really good. There are 2 rooms right at the entrance to the building. It's very clear where we are. A model I think that it works best that I've seen in New Zealand is at Mount Albert, where the Auckland City Library has the Citizens Advice Bureau in the centre of the building. Library staff say, Citizens Advice Bureau being here is fantastic. It brings people into the library who wouldn't normally come in here. And CAB says the same thing in the opposite direction. Because we are here in the library, people come and see us.
Yanni?
Thank you, and I appreciate the work that you do. Obviously, the challenge facing council is we can't even afford to fund the space that we need in our libraries, let alone make provision for other community groups. Have you talked to Sarah about the buildings that they own in the central city around the need for some community space? Because it seems to me that our financial pressures are massive, and I just kind of wondered if you'd thought about the central city or whether you're more looking at just going into suburban areas. I mean, you've mentioned our library. And then the other question I had was just accepting that you provide a unique service, but recognising that we've got a whole bunch of other community groups that have all got facing increased rent, cuts to funding, lack of government support. They've all got the same needs. Have you thought about having a kind of shared community corner space? So it's not just you, but it's possibly other groups can also use that space. So 2 questions there.
First one, our priority is to be where people are. And so, I mean, the Linwood Eastgate area is, I think we've identified that as our key area we would like to be.
Critical.
Absolutely. We've actually done a lot of exploration, which we've talked to Vicky about previously. Sorry, do you want to say something?
No, I was just going to ask a really simple question. You know that upstairs part in
Oh yes, we spoke to Aviva and they were looking, I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, Neil, it was 16,000 per annum.
So that was what I was going to come to.
Yeah.
How much is the gap in the rent that would be required to actually go into that mall space?
Yeah.
That depends on the funding that we get on a yearly basis. So it's
I mean-
a chicken and egg.
And the other
Yeah.
part of the issue was they were wanting to lock us into a term when we're only funded year by year, and financially that wasn't a viable option for our board.
So you
'cause it
haven't
would-
been brought into the contracts that go more than 1 year?
No.
Okay, well, then we need, that's something that needs to
But
be
it was
looked at.
16,000 a year, was it,
I
Neil?
Yep.
think
Was it?
off the top of my head it was
For 6 years.
16,000.
Yep.
Yeah. Jimmy?
Yes.
Eh?
One question, okay?
Sorry,
Oh,
no,
sorry,
I didn't. Yeah.
Yanni hadn't finished
Yeah,
getting an
My
answer.
apologies.
So
The other one
question
about-
is the temporary recovery authority that the government set up a place that you've looked for a permanent home?
Well, no, because they're temporary, I guess.
And what was the other question?
I wasn't thinking just temporary for Sarah. I mean, they own the bus interchange.
Yeah, no, but they're not going to
So-
own it forever. They're not going to
Well,
be
who
here
knows?
forever.
Like, we don't, but,
No,
but
no,
in
but
terms
they're
of the
not
space
going to be
that's
here
there,
forever. Yanni,
fine. The space
that's-
that's there now, I'm
that's-
just trying to understand if there's anywhere else that you've looked at in the central. And that's right, if it's just the library, fine. The other question was around the community corner concept. So it wasn't just your organisation, but
Yes,
it was
yeah,
able to be
well,
shared space amongst other.
We have been working with Community Law Canterbury, and that was a strong possibility until they got the residential advisory service contract rolled over and they have no space. And the other spaces, like we've looked at in Eastgate, are simply beyond.
Our means financially.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to, I mean, I think the takeout from here is that we need a little bit of work done on this submission. Jimmy?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to know, because my understanding before the earthquake regarding to the suburban area, you have used the kind of Hornby Library, Bishopdale Library, etc., very successful. However, in Central City, actually you share with some other non-government agency in the kind of community house, you know,
Yes, we
because
were in
they
this
have
community
the Canterbury Volunteer, or they have a kind of tenants protection association. So more people, you know, client, they might have to the one place, one location, one facility can get many the service. But after earthquake, a moment the other facility is still open to the community. I just want to know why you particularly still prefer in Central City in the library facilities rather than community house.
Well, where Community House is currently located, it is at least a 10-minute walk from the bus exchange. Many of our volunteers are mature, shall I say, and many of them have health issues. There's actually really bad parking around there, so you've got another 10-minute walk to get there as well. So it's about accessibility for our volunteer base, which is one of the issues that we have with Community House being a viable option for us currently.
Yeah.
And the same issue applies to our clients. If it's not,
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I think that the location is unfortunate in that regard.
yep.
Anyway, thank you very, very much. Much
you.
appreciated. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Okay.